I can remember during the 8 years that I served as special judge in Stevens County and seeing the felons that would come in front of us and then go to the district judge for sentencing, and in discussion many times about why certain people received prison sentences, it was because of the belief, I say that because of explanation I will give later, but the belief that there were programs within our prison system that were not available in our community, and that if an offender was convicted and went to prison and required to go through a certain program, that it would reduce the opportunity, it would reduce the rate of recidivism, reduce the likelihood that they would reoffend upon completion of their sentence. Later, when I served as chairman of the parole board and as director of the parole board, I learned that a lot of those programs really didn't exist. And what I've learned even since that time while I was a member of the legislature is that when times are tough, because of the necessity of maintaining personnel and correctional officers, what happens is that programs get cut even further. There was a point in time when we were doing some research about women's treatment programs that there was a program for drug offenders, substance abuse program within the women's facility that had 15 spaces, 15, 1-5, and it ran 3 times a year. So if those women were successful, the most that ever graduated from that program was less than 50 in a state that incarcerates more per capita than any other state. That's unacceptable, but that's reality of what is currently happening. So how do we address the problem before they get to the prison? I happen to be very fortunate to be involved in writing and authoring the community sentencing part of legislation in my early terms in the legislature, because I recognized that there were other judges like ones I served with, that if they had opportunities in the community, they would give that first and second time nonviolent offender an opportunity to make changes. We can't make the changes for them, but we can create the opportunity for change. And so then later, likewise, having the opportunity with Senator Wilkerson to create the first piece of drug court legislation that this county has used exceedingly well. Judge Farrell Hatch, who continues to run your drug court program, has success after success after success because the community has bought into it. The community is what makes it successful. Having been down here for your drug court graduation, I have been impressed with how members of your community have come up and said, here is why I think this is good. Here is a job that I helped this person get, or that I employed this individual myself. We have to be able to convince communities that this is the right thing to do. The state of Minnesota has a prison population much less than Oklahoma, but if you look for decades, they have invested in their community in substance abuse treatment programs and mental health programs, trying to intervene and intercede before the conduct leads to a criminal act. Because we know when that criminal act occurs, sometimes it is violent, even if it occurs because of a drug-induced state. We need to intervene before that happens. When we do that, we not only begin to reduce the population in our prison system, we improve the workforce that we have in our communities, and at the same time, I believe that we improve the opportunities for these people to continue as tax-paying citizens and not reoffend. Part of the reintegration programs that we must include involve the ability to help reunite and reintegrate families, because we know that many of our women who are in prison, their sole goal when they get out is to be able to become a mother that they were not beforehand. So anytime we can help do that reunification and teach that mother, we have improved our prison system.